So Synergen was formed in 2007. We were formed to commercialise some applications around the use of a piece of industrial technology called thermal plasma. Thermal plasma is a high temperature application where you can use an electric arc to do some really interesting things with gases. So we spent the last 14 years doing research and development, initially research and most recently development of a number of different applications. And we're coming to market with a couple of those applications now in the commercial phase. And we're also acquiring one of our main equipment suppliers who's based in the US. So we're kind of preparing ourselves for growth. First of all, we've developed an application that produces hydrogen by splitting methane into hydrogen and carbon black. And the process is we feed methane into this plasma environment, and the temperature of the plasma splits that methane. Methane is made up, it's CH4 is the gas. So we split that into carbon and hydrogen as a gas, and then we drop out the carbon as carbon black. So it's actually sequestration of the carbon, but it comes out as carbon black. There's a global market for carbon black, and then the hydrogen gets purified and if required, but used in multiple different applications. That's our hydrogen application. We have an application where we're destroying a chemical called PFAS. It's known as the forever chemical. So we've spent the last 3 years under Australian Research Council grant developing that application. So we concentrate this PFAS that's in liquid, and then that concentrate gets destroyed in our plasma system. And then we have the company that we've just acquired, Phoenix Solutions Co., based in Minneapolis. They're a global leader in the development of these types of plasma heating systems. So we're in the process of a number of projects in gasification of waste. They melt incinerator ash in Japan. They've got a really great existing business which we're looking forward to growing. So there are three main business lines. We have other applications that are in development, but these are the three that we're really driving forward with. We all are familiar with the hydrogen space and what's happening with hydrogen on a global basis. We are approaching the hydrogen market maybe a little bit differently than what you see in the mainstream media. The opportunity for us is to co-locate with industrial users, and in co-locating we can tap into existing infrastructure. We don't have to transport the hydrogen to the user. We can actually produce it on site right next to them. So we're seeing a significant growth in opportunities around that space, and that's a growing market for us. We haven't necessarily identified how big it is because it's actually a little bit undefinable at this point in time. There's a lot of change happening as industry decarbonizes, and therefore our market is growing continuously. The PFAS market, it's exploding, to be honest. That PFAS, the recognition of PFAS as a toxic chemical that it is starting to really gain momentum around the world. We've been ahead of the curve here in Australia for many years. That's now catching up in the United States and in Europe and the UK. And so the market there, again, it's just continually growing as more and more sites are identified as having contamination that they can't really deal with. So that's for us is a major opportunity. And the Phoenix Solutions applications in their markets, again, growing. They have a very developed set of applications in gasification, and the way that they do it with plasma, that's really starting to come into its own around because of air emissions and the very high quality emissions that come out of their process. So we're starting to see a lot of interest turning towards the application that they have. So we're really excited to see the growth in that area. We think it's a very large market that's unaddressed at the moment. The hydrogen strategy is one of joint venturing. We see the opportunity here of working together with our customer. So joint venturing, so shared capex and shared revenue. On the PFAS side, that's a services business. We'll be running that ourselves. We'll be charging on a $1 per litre basis of processing. So there's two areas of processing there. We make a concentrate and then we destroy the concentrate. So there's a cost associated with that, but it's a service that we'll offer. The Phoenix business at the moment it's an equipment supply business. So as third parties identify the equipment that they need, the Phoenix have the opportunity to sell that equipment into those companies. And there's an ongoing revenue stream from the supply of spares. Electrodes are a large part of the process of running plasma, and the electrode supply is something that the Phoenix guys will do on an exclusive basis. So there's a nice ongoing revenue stream there from Phoenix. So it's 3 different business lines, it's 3 different approaches, and it's different contracting strategies for each of those lines. But that's what we see as being the best way of moving forward for the best growth that we can generate. Current revenue is really sitting with the Phoenix team out of Minnesota, but we see revenue generation certainly in the next 12 months. We see a significant growth there, particularly on the PFAS side. Myself, mechanical engineer, spent most of my working life in industrial projects, design, construction, delivery. Synergen with 14 years, so a lot of time spent commercialising or going through the process of development of new tech. I've been on the board of a junior mining company as the executive director, taking projects from conception through to pre-feasibility and now into feasibility. And so my approach here is to bring on the right people for the teams that we require to execute these projects, both here and in the United States, and the right expertise. One of our directors, Dr. Jeff Duckworth, he was an inventor of one of our first applications that we were developing, and he's an extraordinary chemical engineer, and is still part of the team and is really becoming a key member in driving the engineering and the project development as we move forward. Terry Gray, who's on our board, has lots of experience in investment and in finance and in pulling together companies to list, and has been really driving the whole IPO process that we've been going through over the last 6 months, and really as a concept for the last 3 years. We will be bringing on 3 new board members at IPO. We have investors from a private equity group called Yorktown. They're based out of New York. So one of the partners there, Joe Stopper, will be joining. Another US-based board member will be Chuck Fox. Chuck's based out of Houston, a large operating experience in CO2 and with Shell out of Houston. And we have Lynn Saint joining us as our chairman, non-executive chairman. And Lynn is somebody that I worked with at Bechtel Group, and Lynn's currently sitting on the board of a number of major Australian listed companies. So we have a board that's really well structured for growth moving forward, with a lot of industrial experience, a lot of experience around building the right teams for executing industrial projects and building revenue streams and profitable revenue streams. And we have a technical team that's sitting under that as our executive team. And part of that team are some of the people that have done the development work over the last few years as well. So we have the right technical team, we have the right board to drive the business. We're just really looking forward to getting through this IPO, getting the funds into the business and driving it hard. Funds will be applied against a couple of hydrogen projects, multiple PFAS projects here and in the United States, against Phoenix Solutions, providing them with a solid working capital facility so that they can really start driving their business really hard, and then against the business overhead and the structure that's going to support all of this growth. It's a well-defined use of funds, and we think it's appropriate for the business for the next 24 months. I think we're in a number of sectors that are experiencing a significant amount of opportunity beyond what you would normally see in a market. We're all familiar with what's going on. Decarbonisation, this hydrogen space is incredibly exciting. The application that we have is unique, but it also it's the functionality of it, where we don't have to build new infrastructure, where we can tap into existing gas pipeline infrastructures, where we can roll these out on a modular basis, quickly, is incredibly exciting. And the enthusiasm that the market's giving back to us for what we have is absolutely amazing. The area in PFAS, and that's being part of that decarbonisation process and that decarbonisation part of the economy is really exciting. On the PFAS side, this is a major problem globally. This is a problem that the world's going to be facing for many, many decades. So to be able to bring a solution to deal with PFAS in the way that we've done it, again, incredibly exciting, and we just see the opportunities in front of us being quite significant. So, we're just looking forward to building the right team and just to driving this business. Excited about being in Australia, we're excited about operating out of the United States. The team that sits in Minnesota is Their technical knowledge is extraordinary, and we really look forward to building that. So we're just in a really great place at the moment.